Good morning, Central Texas. Welcome to KISS Community Connections at 1031. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host, and I'm also your guest because we still need to talk some more. And plus, with the pandemic, people are really trying to stay in, and I understand that. But today we're going to talk about two topics, and well, three, but I'm going to roll them all into one to show you that they fit. We're going to talk about us and our community. And you know what I mean by us? Yes, us and our community. And when we ask those questions, what's happening and what's going on, we're showing that we don't know our community. So let's have a little talk. And let's talk about diversion, because boy, oh boy, are we being diverted and we're just allowing it to happen. And you have people who don't look like us like the fact that we're being diverted. So, this week we found out that Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris as his vice president. And you heard a lot of, oh my gosh, no. Well, that's who he picked. So, if we're voting for that ticket, that's who we vote for. That's the team we vote for. But then, somebody always makes that decision to just throw something out there. So following social media, and I do follow social media. I don't follow it like, oh my gosh, but I read social media because mine's, on my side, I don't get the craziness. But anyway, the first thing you heard on there is, should she be the VP? Should she have been picked? First of all, too late to say should she have been picked because she's already picked. But then it came some of the negatives. And the negatives were coming from other people. But the point is, that diverted us away from talking about what we're going to be doing as far as this election is concerned and the support of whomever we choose to support. But it threw people into another direction to which we fell into. And we need to realize that these diversion tactics are on purpose. When we're diverted to another area, something else is happening on the other side. If you're diverted to the left, something's going on the right. If you're diverted to the right, something's going on to the left. So we need to pay attention to that. Because from all the complaints about her running, came that person we call president, who said that she was an immigrant and he's going to check to see if she's legal or not. And yeah, people buying into that, so we're easily diverted and we need to quit doing that because it makes us the people who everybody knows we could throw them over here while we're playing over there. They threw at us when we found out that Kanye West was going to run for president. That was like a weeks-long conversation of people going, yay, very good, they supported it. What I realized, and first of all, you can't do it because he would have to get signatures, so many signatures by state, can't do that. So, but you got to remember, that was a diversion. That was a diversion for who? Those who dived into it. That was diversion tactic because while you're pumped up, oh yeah, let him get on the ballot, I'd vote for him. You weren't paying attention to the fact that our post office is being attacked. You didn't pay attention to our own postal service is being attacked. And it's being attacked because, the big issue is to vote by mail. Well, if you vote by mail, someone gets scared they're not going to win the election, so they pop off on you. I'm not going to sign this. I'm not going to give them that. Oh, I'm not going to do this. Is a ploy. We weren't paying attention to it first. Some of us weren't. Because you was over there with the Kanye West thing. You were over there with the Kanye West running. You were over there with the Kamala Harris. Why some don't want her there. Why she doesn't belong there. You're there. The post office is being destroyed systematically. You weren't paying attention. You're part of the diversion. So we need to stop and we need to wake up and get out of this part of the diversion. We have 79 days before the election. You might say that's a long ways away, but it is not. It is not, especially if you live in our area. What I mean area, I'll say Killeen, for the first time of Killeen. And in Hacker Heights also. This is the first time on the November 3rd election or November election where you will be voting for the president and the legislators and on down. You're going to be voting for the school board, and you're also going to vote on city council. So you have 79 days to get all these people straight in your head. Like I'm saying, you have 79 days to get all these people in your head as to who they are and what they're all about. First off, please go to, even you might not like social media, and heck, I get most of my shows information off of social media and some of my topics too, such as this one. But go over there, and they all have a Facebook page. Find out who they are. Find out who they're running against. Find out all this information so you can be an informed voter, not just a person, as we talked about last week, who checked the box without the strategy. Make sure you're informed. Make sure you know. It's time that we cut out of that. And the only way to know is to stop being distracted. Stop knowing everything is on your left. And when that ball is thrown everything is on your right. That ball is thrown to you on the left. Quit looking at it. You might glance at it as it goes by, but let it do just that. Let it glance and go by. Because like I said, while you were distracted with Kanye West, the post office is being under attack right now. Severely under attack. Even though, as we know, the post office is federal government, which goes under Congress, but we have a president who's attacking them. But we're not saying anything about it because we were diverted somewhere else. The news media diverted you somewhere else. Everybody diverted you somewhere else. So let's stop that. Let's realize that we never should have been the easily ones diverted ever in the first place. But we're considered the easiest ones to be diverted. Guess what? Because we are. Because I watch. And I'm sure some of you watch and you go, why are we talking about that? That's the diversion. That's the built-in diversion. That's what that is. People need to know Kanye West was a diversion. If you all vote for Kanye West, most likely the president we have now would win. If that was to happen, would win because Kanye West would be the diversion. Such as, you give us a bone, we're going to go run to it. Well, it didn't work, so it's not. So stop being diverted. And as far as our community is concerned, stop being diverted from that. Now, let's talk about our community. There's a lot of things going on in our community, a lot of struggles. You have Belton, which is fighting hard to become one single-member district, such as Killeen is. And they're also fighting to get the park, Confederate Park, renamed. That, so far, is working very well. I mean, there's a fight, but it's working better than I thought it would. It really is. I'm following it, and because I want to know what's going to happen to it, because I'm not going to go to Confederate Park either. So we have a lot of things going on in our areas. We have Belton with that, and a lot of us are helping Belton with that. So we have a lot of issues to tackle, and we have a lot of people that are doing some great things in our area, and we're not recognizing them, and we're not talking to them, and we're not doing what we're supposed to do about them. So there's so many things going on in our area for us to be active in our community that will make a difference, that sometimes we're not there. Some of our reasons are not there is due to health. And you should have known I'm going there because, you can't fight a fight if your body's not ready. You can't. You're going to lose. And your body's going to take the loss. So if your body's not ready for the fight, I'm not saying don't stay home. Oh, no, I'm not going to ever say that. What I'm going to tell you is it's time for you to get your body right for the fight. When boxers box, they get their body ready for that fight. Well, when we take on our community, and I'm not going to say taking it back, because taking it back means we gave it away. But in order to improve our community and to make things the way they should be, as close as possible as they should be, in order to do that battle, your health got to be in battle right form. So first we got to take care of our health. Now, certain things that you catch aren't your fault. But the main things that we end up with that we can't control, we end up with diabetes. Then you ask people, is that out of control? Yes. Well, you know what? If it's out of control, you did it. It didn't do it. You did it. Because that is a controlled disease. You can keep it down to the numbers you want to if you want to. So if it's out of control, you did it. So get it back into control because we need you back out on the street. We need you back on the phone. We need you in that battle, in that battle style that we know we have and that we let go, get back in it. So first we got to get our health in tune to do this, to do these big voter registration drives and make sure everybody know who it is to vote and where to go and who's who and what the strategy is. Your health got to be intact for that because if it's not, you're going to fail in the middle. So what we need you to do first, and we need us to do, I'll say all of us to do, is get our body right, get our health right. Because, a good body and a good body makes a good mind, good spirit, and it makes you ready for whatever comes on. It gets you ready for that battle that we're going to take on. It gets you ready for that. Your body, yes, is an instrument, and it need to be fine-tuned. So first, let's start taking care of our health. Now, hold up. Don't say I'm taking care of my health, so when I get healthy enough, I'll be out there. Nah, 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 nah. We can do both at the same time. Don't say you can't, because I did. I mean, I did it and I'm doing it. I'm taking care of my body so I can get back out there. Not to protest, not to march, but get back out there and do what I'm supposed to do. I want to be better at it. So I need to take care of my body, which takes care of my mind, my spirit, and all of me. Once I get all of that in tune, I'm still going to be out there, but I'll be out there better equipped. Because you remember, your body has to be equipped for what you're going to do. You have to equip your body to do it. There's only one person in charge of your body, and that's you. You control it. You control the 10 pounds you gain, 20 pounds that you lose. It's all on you. Can't blame anybody for it. There's no reason to sit around pouting and go, I can't do nothing about it. Yes, you can. Just do it. Just get up and do it. You know, I'll admit me. I used to be a rice fanatic. I could eat rice every day. I really could. And I probably can now, but I realized that rice, I could look at it and gain weight. I really could. So guess what? I wasn't going to let that happen no more. So I got rid of it. And what you need to know is, if you stop eating something that you truly need to give it up, if you stop eating it for about like 21 days, you'll be fine. Your body will be fine without it, because it's gone. It's out of your system. It's out of your mind. Yes, your mind is going to play some tricks on you. I want some rice now. You better give it to me. As long as you said, no, you're not getting it. You might want it all along. But it becomes an internal fight with your body and you. And we all know about the body internal fight. It'll say it wants something and you say no, or you give up and say, here it is. So we need to know. So practice those 21 days. Give up stuff every 21 days. Give up something. Get your mind in tune. Get your body in tune. And start supporting our community. Like I said, in Belton, they're battling right now for, like I said, they're going to get the rights to change the park, because there's a committee to change the word a Confederate Park to something else. So there's a committee, but that was a fight for that committee. That was a battle. I mean, it was a battle on battles. If you ever wanted to see what you saw on television, if you were there, you saw it. You saw the men with the guns who are, quote unquote, waiting for something to pop off so they could do something about it. But then you had the men with guns who are there to make sure everything stays straight. So you had them two not fighting each other, but they're against each other, but they were there ready to do whatever they had to do. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is not like, some big city riot thing going on. This is a peaceful demonstration. But still, it doesn't matter. They were there. The scare tactics were there too. They had to face the scare tactics of being told that the people who donated that land for that park donated it to become a park, and at the same time it said, as it would be then, and let you know how long that was, no Negroes allowed on this land. So it was written that way. So you had people fighting that. They weren't even born when that happened, but they were fighting that. That's what that said. And nobody could find the deed, because naturally it's too old. It wasn't archived, because back then they didn't do all that. But you had people fighting for that. And actually they lost the fight. But you know what? They lost the fight because we came together. I don't even live in Belton. I live in Killeen, but I was there for that, because we needed to be there for that. We need to be there for that, because guess what? One young man decided enough is enough. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this going on. I need to do something. So he began to call people and talk to people to find out who else he needed to get to know. And he started this big fight. And it's continuing on now, because he's doing something else, which is great. But this battle was continuing on. He got enough people together who were once tired of fighting back out there to fight. I went to it, and this lady, she was older than I am, and she was out there with her cane, and I asked her, I said, you want to go sit down? She said, no, I can't go sit down. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, okay, I got to reframe my brain, because I didn't get it. And I didn't get it because, once again, I was thinking about it. I said, what do you mean you can't sit down? She said, I've been waiting for a fight like this for years. She said, I've been waiting, because she said back in her days of being in Belton, she was part of some of those demonstrations. She was part of some of those battles that they lost. She said, so for this to be this right now, she couldn't sit down. She said she couldn't sit down. She said her legs, they weren't hurting her then. Now, she said before she got there, her legs was killing her. She said, but when she got to the rally, her legs weren't bothering her no more. She said her shortness of breath that she was worried about, she had her oxygen tank with her, she wasn't short of breath anymore, because she had to be there for that. So she said she's been living, to her, She said she's been living to wait for this day to happen. So she stood out there the whole time when I came. I stood next to her because, you know what, just in case. Not to say I could catch her because she's taller than me. She's bigger than me. But the point is, I just said I need to stand next to her. So I did, and to listen to her made me feel guilty about thinking about not coming, but she was there. She was there. And in Killeen, let's not say Killeen is great. In Killeen, we have some things going on. We have some no-knocks that some turned out good, some turned out bad, some went horribly wrong. So we have smaller issues, but, we have issues that we're battling in Killeen. We have organizations and groups that are in Killeen. But you know what? Due to those of people who look like us, black and brown, we bought into something that we should never have. We bought into something called the American Dream, that American Dream thing, where, you need a place to stay, a car to drive, and a job, and that's all you need, and you've reached the American Dream. That's a lie. That's a lie, because you see it every day that it doesn't work. But some of us bought into it, and we're still buying into it because we're still there. Well, that's a lie. And, most of you, okay, those of us have a place to stay, a job, and a car. It didn't stop crime. It didn't make you successful either. It didn't do anything, but it made you become one of those people who go home at the end of the day and you sit at your place where you live, apartment, house, whatever you live in. You sit there and you go, okay, I'm living the American dream. No, because you open your door and there's the American nightmare. The American nightmare of, we have a group of our people who live in Killeen on the north side of the city, and they're living in the food desert. They're living in stores that don't even make sense. I mean, near stores that don't make sense because we walked away. And we walked away and we left because, quote unquote, I'm going to live the American dream. Well, the American dream was sold to us, and somehow or another we bought it. We bought it. And look what we bought. You know what you bought? You bought, like I said, the north side of Killeen without a grocery store, and you're not doing anything about it. You read about it and you chime in on Facebook, Twitter, all those other things, you talk, but you don't do nothing about it. How many of you have called around to other stores to see if they would be interested in coming to Killeen? How many of you did that? How long would that have taken you? A couple of minutes or a day? How many of you did that? How many cared? How many just was like, what the city council do? Oh, nothing. Oh, well, they need to be doing something. What about you? You couldn't have called some of these stores. Have you did that? Now, I do know one person. She did it. I do know one person that she actually did call some stores, and she has two that are interested. But what did we do about it as a community strong? No, we like, well, the city council, that's their job. Okay, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. Obviously, they're not doing it because we don't see nothing moving and shaking. So then, did it hurt us to do the phone call? We're the community. Did it hurt us to call some stores to see, let me see if I can fix this? Because remember, this American dream lie that we bought into, so now there is a lie because it's not. What are we going to do about it? Well, you know what you're going to do about it? You're going to get up off that comfortable recliner chair that feels so good after days work. You're going to get your behind back out there. Because this isn't the American dream. This is the American nightmare. And once again, to get all this done, what's got to be straight? Your health. You got to make sure that your health can withstand that fight. Because believe me, as we know, when you get into this, to the struggle, your body takes a beating. And it doesn't take a beating because you get beat down physically, but your body takes a beating because you get bent down emotionally. So you got to be strong enough to step back in it. So don't sit at home right now saying, okay, I'm going to do this, and then when this is done, I'm going to get out there. No, do both at the same time. You can. There's no reason you can't, but we need to get ourselves in gear and ready for what we need to do, what we need to take on. We need to get into these groups and not get into it to walk or to rally what they do, but at a certain age group, you need to know what your task is. I'll say myself. At my age, I don't need to be in the rally in the street. I don't need to be there. But you know what I need to do? I need to go to this group. I need to go to their meetings. I need to find out what they're doing. I need to check them out on Facebook because what they're doing is on there. And then if they're doing something, and I'll give you an example. Last year in October, there was a group who held a march in Killeen. But to get that march done, they was going through it. And I didn't know nothing about it. So someone asked me, Phyllis, why you not saying nothing about this group? And then I'm looking like, what group? And so the person filled me in on it. I ain't know nothing about it. I said, but now that you told me, you now made me responsible. Because once I tell you, you're not responsible to do something. So I'm like, all right. Found out when that meeting. I went to the next meeting. I sat in the back and I'm taking notes, right? I'm taking notes because that's my style. So I'm taking notes, and they were on it. I was like, they must have been looking at older movies of rallies because they had everything down pat. I was like, this is really cool, So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I need to help them, but I need to know where. So I listened to them talk, and what I found out was, boom, they were having a problem with the city manager, and not a problem with the police chief. Police chief wanted to come to an equal understanding, but they were having a problem with the city manager trying to make sure and the mayor trying to make sure that this event didn't take place. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I got it. I know what my job is. Next day, I called somebody that was older than me and told them what was going on, and I gave them all their instructions because that's my job. Contact somebody older than me that's in another generation and let them know that what their job is, they need to do it. Okay, so I called the police chief. So what's going on? He lets me know we're trying to work out a route. He said, but it is going to take place. Okay, cool. Call the mayor. Well, he wasn't that happy about the entire thing, so we had a little discussion. Cool. All right, now, that's my way. All right, so the lady that I called, she's 90 years old, but she called her little friends, and so they did the same thing I did. They called up and they asked what's going on. Why? We're going to call you every day because we want to know what's going on. Can they call every day? Sure, they're at home. They're at home. But they know that their job. At that age group, that's their job. I'm going to call you every day. Good. They're going to call you. I'm not going to call every day because I work. I don't have time to call you every day because I'm doing too many other things to do. So my thing is to call you once. They do it all the time. So you figure the mayor got to find out that not only did I know who this group is, he's now thinking, well, these senior citizens somehow know who this group is. That's pressure that they don't want. But that's pressure that they got. And they got it from each age group. Now, the chief, he knew what was up. He knew why I called him. And when somebody else called him, he knew what was up. He knew that we weren't putting our thumbs on his head. No, we're just asking a question because we're concerned about this group down there rights being taken away because you don't want them to march. So you're going to have them doing all these crazy things that didn't make sense. And you want to know what some of the crazy things were. They wanted them to march from the apartment on Hallmark to Condor Park on the sidewalk. Right. So the city manager told them you're going to have to knock on every door on all the way there and get those people permission. For real? No, not today. Not today. We're not going to have it. Not today. We're not going to have that. Because I walked up to the group before when I first went to their meeting. I let them know. I said, if you need me, let me know. If you don't, I'll show up. I said, I'll just show up and support. But if you need me, let me know. So when I reached out, told me they want us to knock on every door. Okay, I'm like, no, we're not knocking on every door. No. That's impossible. Doesn't make sense. Because if the house say yes and the next house next to you say no, I can't avoid that house and go around that way. I'm going to have to actually stop and be there. So that was ridiculous. So what did we do? A lot of us got together. We contacted the mayor and told him, and the city manager, no, we're not having that. You're going to come up with a better way. So he got a bunch of phone calls about that. Bunch of phone calls about that. Was he happy? No, he wasn't happy. Too bad. We did our jobs. So when we're out supporting the group, and I'll say because I asked Hope, are you supporting them? I'm not saying get out in the street and support them in the walk. I'm not saying meet them at the community center and do whatever you do. You need to look at your age group and realize what your age group's responsibility is. We tend to forget that, yes, just because you reach a certain age doesn't mean you step out the picture. It means you take a different standing. It means that you're not the one who, yes, let's do this. Yeah, you're not that one anymore. You're the one listening to say, all right, I'm gonna call the police and make sure that they know that I'm there and I know they're there and I want it to be fine. I'm gonna call the people that I know that needs to be called so that they'll know I know all about it. So you do those things, and you take somebody that's older than you and you have them do it. You do that. You call and ask the group, hey, listen, can I do the voter registration drive there? Because I'm not in the age group to do that walk and that rally. I'm not in that group anymore. And that group might not expect me to be there. But if you can be there, do it. But all I'm saying is don't use anything as to say, I'm too old to get out there and do that. No, 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 no. There's always something that you can do, that you're not too old to do, that you can actually do and make a difference in the community and make a difference with a group and make a difference with people. You know, often we wonder, those who say, I don't know what the youth today are doing. I look at them like, listen, most of the youth that I deal with are the ages of my children are older. And, some of them are starting at the age of my grandchildren because my oldest grandchild is 25, So I'm like, I can't, I'm there in their lives to mentor, to do what I'm supposed to do as a grandparent. But these kids in the community, they're mine too. So I need to be out there. But to do that, I got to have my health in gear. I can't get out there and help them and my blood sugar is 200-300. I can't do them any justice to me either. I can't. So I need to get that in gear before I get out there with them. I need to be right in mind and body and spirit and all that before I go out and talk to them or help them or be there for them. I've got to get that right with myself first. So I'm telling us, get your health in gear and get back out there. Because that American dream is an American lie. And you need to wake and shake your head and realize that that's the American dream that they told you about so they can keep you there. If I can tell you lived in an American dream means going home, going to work with your car and back home again, if I can sell you on that, I can do anything else to the people in your community that's less fortunate. Because I got you thinking you live in an American dream. Well, I can make sure that the other people are living in an American nightmare. And that's what we did. And that's what we're doing today. And that's what we need to stop doing. Because we need to know we got 79 days to flip the whole United States. You heard me. 79 days to flip it. Which means every day is then accounted for. It means every day we need to be in the community. And listen, being in the community does not always mean physically being there. I can be in touch with the community and I can go on Facebook and touch every group that I know is active in the community and find out what they're doing, where they're going, what they're thinking about, and I can do my part. One part I can do is invite them on the radio. Second part I can do is highlight them when I see who they are and what they're doing, is highlight them and make sure everybody go there and drive people to them. To drive you to, have you heard about this group? Nope. Well, this is what they're doing. Okay, now what I'm telling you is I've held you responsible. Now you've got to go and find out who they are. You actually got to go and find out who they are now because I made you a part of the decision making. I made you a part of the knowledge. So now it's your job to go and say, hey, let me go find out who they are. Much as last week. Last week when I talked about all the political seats, when I got home, well, Sunday, I'll say, Sunday when I was at home and chilling and I got, well, and I always expect some phone calls, some text messages, some, people contacting me. But I had a whole lot of people contacting me. One, they didn't know about the strategy. So they wanted to know if I could explain it more. And I did. Of course I did. Because I don't want to tell you something and you're lost. I want you to be clear. And some people was like, I never thought about the State Board of Education. So I got to go study them and look them up. And I was saying, if you're an educator and you don't know who they are, man, we got blinders on it. We need to fix it. But, it wasn't, nobody was unhappy about what I said. But what everybody realized at that point is, you shake your head and you go, where I been? I thought I had this. And I thought I really had this. So last week was a learning curve for a lot of people. But I hope they took that learning curve and talked it into somebody else's head. I hope they, in turn, open somebody else's head up and poured that knowledge in there to let them know it's a strategy. And, we ended our second week of work. And the drivers, I'm going back to what I'm talking about, so I'm not diverting far away. The bus drivers aren't driving their buses or doing transportation and all that. So they're in the schools. They're actually in the schools with us. So one of the ladies that's at our campus, she's a bus driver for special needs. So we know her as the bus lady. Okay. Anyway, she came down to our room and she was like, hey, how y'all doing? Well, I'm in school. All right. And she said, Miss Phyllis. I'm like, yes. First, I didn't know she knew my name. I said, yes. She said, listen, we got to talk. I got to get this written down. And I'm thinking, I'm at school, so what's she talking about? She said, listen to your show. I'm like, oh, you do? I didn't know that. I'm like, you do for real? She said, yeah. She said, now I was writing down what you were saying. She said, but she said you were talking faster than I could write. She said certain things I had to think about, and then you had moved on to another topic or subject. So she came down to my room, or to our room, and she had a mission. Her mission was, she came down, she had a notebook, pen. She opened up. She said, now this is where I stopped at. She said, so I'm going to help you do what you're doing in the room so that you can explain the rest. Cool. And I did. I was happy to explain it to her because the thing is, she took the time to come down to the room and say, hey, I'm going to help you in your room doing what you're doing, because we were cleaning off. Okay, I work with special needs kids, so, we got stuff in there for days. But we're cleaning and spraying everything down. So she helped me do it only so I can explain to her because she said she in tune was trying to tell a friend of hers, but she realized how many vacancies, spaces she had. So she had to go back, and I was proud of her for that because she not only took the information I gave, she took it to take it to other people, and that's how we do to really confirm and make the American dream. And what I want to, and about our community is, we've allowed our community to be which are taken over by people who came to only take over for the money and not for anything else. I was on the north side of Killeen, and wanted some water. And drunk the water I already had, so I went into this convenience store to get a bottle of water. So I opened the door and I went to grab the water, and I suddenly realized, I'm like, well, how much is this water? There was no price on the water. So I looked at all the other waters, there was no price on there. So, then there goes Phyllis. I went down the whole aisle. No drinks had a price. I'm like, well, no. So then, so the man at the front who was working in the store, naturally didn't look like me. I asked him, I said, how much is this water? He said, well, just bring it on up and pay for it. So I, suddenly realized he must think I'm an idiot because I'm not doing that. I said, no, how much is it? And I'm holding the bottle up, and I said, you have no prices on nothing in your back here to your drinks. I said, why not? He says, well, sometimes prices go up and we don't have time to change them. I'm like, prices go up that fast? I said, no, because today this water could be $1 and tomorrow's $1.50. And, so I'm walking around the whole store then. I'm picking up canned goods. I'm picking up all kinds of stuff. I didn't see a price. So I walked up to him. I said, hey, why you don't have prices in your store? Well, after that, he came. He said, so you came here from what organization, what group? Who do you work for? You work for the Department of Health? Okay, by then I wanted to crack up laughing because what he thought was, one, I lived in the neighborhood. All right, I don't. By me asking too many questions, it's obvious I don't live over there. It's obvious because I'm asking questions. I can just bring it up to him and pay for it. So, he began to explain to me what the law was. And he was trying to, and at this point, he said, so who do you work for? Who are you with? Why? I never answered. I'm like, why? Does that matter? I said, I just want to know why stuff in your store don't have no price on it. And I broke it down to him. I said, because I know the people in your area, I know they're all the black and brown. I know they're not the richest people in the world. But I do know that you're the only store they have to come to. I say, to me, we failed that community because that's the only store they can go to. So they're stuck with his prices. And he know it. He was good until people like me and who come into the store. I didn't just grab the bottle of water and go up there and pay for it. No, I wanted to see how much it was before I got there. So I had issues. So he was so glad I got out the store, and then by then the man didn't know what to do because I'm walking all through his store. And he couldn't legally tell me I couldn't do that. He was scared to tell me to get out. But he did that. So what I did was I came home and I called some friends that I know. And they all went by the store all week. One person went by the store. Finally, we came back and we saw prices on the drinks. Just the drinks. We saw prices on the drinks. So I came back in there. When I walked back in there, that man, well, he attempted to. He was going to take me by the hand. No, you ain't holding my hand. He said, come. I'm like, what? I looked. It was prices and all the drinks, right? All the, little tab price on there. He said, see, you happy now? No. Well, what was I supposed to say? I was supposed to say yes, right? No. I said no. He said, well, why are you not happy? I said, because I shouldn't have had the conversation with you in the first place. And he didn't get it or didn't want to get it, but he was like, what? I should have had to say this in the first place. And was I upset with him? Yes and no. Yes, I was, because he's bleeding our people dry. No, I wasn't, because we're assisting him in doing so. Because we don't go on that side of town. We don't go to those stores. We don't. We just don't. Well, you know what? As a community, we might need to. Because remember that American dream that they're trying to live it to on the north side? We pour water into their American dream. We do some clouds and thunder in there. They can't live that dream because we're not out there and we're not watching. We're living the fake American dream. And we're allowing our health to be a part of the American dream because we're eating what we don't need to eat. We're not exercising. We're not taking care of ourselves. And while we're wondering why we're eating what we shouldn't be eating, we're still eating it. So we're not doing our part. So you know what? It's time for us to get back into the community. We got 79 days to educate the community on why they need to vote. And why you explain to people they need to vote, pay attention to who you're talking to and bring them something that will touch them. If I want you to vote, I'm going to tell you what's going to be on the ballot that I know will fit you and friends that you know. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's what we're going to talk about. Because I got to get you to vote. But if I tell you, you need to vote because, if you don't, they're going to raise taxes. Well, if they live in an apartment building, they don't care. Don't care. But if I tell you that they're going to touch, that they're thinking about cutting Medicaid or Medicare, I can't remember which is which, they're going to reduce food stamps. Guess what? What I'm going to hear, they're going to do what? They bleep, 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 bleep. They're going to do what to my what? Oh, no, they're not. Okay, now I woke you up and you have a reason to go vote now. Some people need that. So when you getting your health together, get up, forget the American dream that you live in, because remember, it's a nightmare, because the dream can't be a dream for just you. It has to be for everybody. So wake up and get back out there in your community. Now, some groups we need to know is Let's Move. We need to let them, because they're the ones who did the rally in Killeen. They're also the ones who sat with the police chief, and they talked about a 90-day stay on no-knocks. And the chief is now going to form a community committee to discuss some of the police policies. How many of you knew that? I'll say you didn't, because you're not following Let's Move. You're not. Now, another young man I know, his name is Brian King. And Brian King wants to save the whole community in 2 days. He does. He really does. He wants to save the community in 2 days. And he realistically can't do it, but that's what he really wants to do. And when I talk to him, he sees more than these young people sees. And what I mean is this. He's been in jail. He said what made him so active about the community was watching younger African-American males come to jail. He said hurt him when he saw them getting younger and younger and younger. He realized that he had to get out because he got to do something about it. So he's done a couple of things, and then me and him talked about him. He asked me about forming him in an organization, a group, or whatever, and I let him know the ins and outs of, being a company, organization, group, 501c3. We talked about all of that. He said, which one should I do? I said, no. I explained to you who they all are. You sit back and figure out where your group will fit. He goes, okay. I said, now you can call me and ask me, but don't ask me to tell you what you should apply and be. I'm going to give you the options. I'll guide you whatever option you make, because you're not making the wrong one. I said, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. So he's done a couple of things, but now he has a group, and it's called Brothers Against Community Crime. They have a Facebook page. So I need you to go to Brothers Against Community Crime. And when you go there on that Facebook page, because he invited me to it, naturally I went to it. And I looked at the Facebook page. The first thing I noticed was all the bandanas tied together. Not by a cartoon, but by people. I saw all the bandanas tied together. That's the first thing that caught my mind. I'm like, wow. He's serious. He's serious. Because how many times do you see a picture with the young men and the bandanas are tied together? And the guys who wear those bandanas were all standing there with their bandanas all tied together. How many times do you get to see that picture? Rarely. So I was, when I saw that picture, I was done. I was hooked. I'm like, you know what? He's not playing. That picture let me know this young man is not playing. But also that picture let me know is where the other men at. Where are the men at their job with their groups, fraternities, the Masons? Where are they at? Because yes, he did it. He got them together. He's got his group. But see, there's always becomes a mentor. Because Brian will always tell you that he needs a male mentor or some male mentors. He does. Because he has his head on straight. He knows exactly what he's going to do. But he wants to make sure that when he do it, as he say, that it's tight. He wants to know that it's tight. So all the men that's listening, I want you to go to Facebook, Brothers Against Community Violence, and ask them, what can you do? Tell them who you are. If you belong to a group or whatever, let them know. Or just you. What can I do to help you? Now, there's another group of men, and I don't know their names, and I got to get the name, but they're into the fitness part. What I mean is they're into the getting up in the morning on Saturdays, yes. But they get up in the morning and they believe in working out before they do any kind of action. So they got it all figured out. They wait. They're like, missus, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But first, we got to exercise and get our mind and our body right. We got to make sure our health is tip top before we get out there. Okay, they got it written down. So now you know what? They need to teach the men who out there whose not health is up to par. They need to teach them, hey, listen, you teach us and we teach you. Because the first thing he said is we work out in the morning a couple of days a week, but mainly like they work out on Saturdays. He said, but we work together, we work out because we got to make sure that our mind is right and that our body is right for this. And I looked at him, I'm like, there's some men that I know that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s and up who need to hear that because he's got it solved. He knows that the mind and the body has to be right. He knows that you got to take care of your health in order for that fight. He knows that. He knew it. He said it. So I need to find out where the rest of our men are at. I need you to do the same thing. Get your health, your mind, your body together so that you can enter this fight with these young men. And like I said, if they're doing a walk, I didn't say walk, but there's ways that you know that you can assist once you listen. Once you listen to what they say and what they want to do, you know what you can do. You heard it. About a little thing they left out, the additional kicks that they need, the additional conversation they need with somebody. You might say, hey, listen, while you're doing it, did you talk to someone? No, I didn't. Well, I'll call them and let them know that you'll be calling them. That's what some of our job is. That's some of what it is. To do just that. To connect with our community. Because like I said, that American dream is an American lie. And to some families, it's an American impossible nightmare. So we need to get out of the diversion thing. When they divert you from the right and send you to the left, you need to peek your head back around there and figure out what's going on. As long as I keep this diversion of this American dream alive in your head, the less I have to worry about you going to the other side of town to see how they're doing. That I don't have to worry about that because I fed you this story of this dream that I want you to follow. I fed it to you. I opened your mouth and I shoved it down your throat. Unfortunately, you ate it, swallowed it, and you digested it. And you think you're living something that you're not. So get your health together. You got 79 days before this election. It's time for candidates forum. There was one last week. I don't know if you listened to it. It was held by Zoom. There's some more candidates forums coming up. You need to ask those questions of these candidates. And I'll tell you too, your state legislators. Let's pick on them too. You have two people in our area running for state legislator. You have Kiki Williams, a retired lieutenant colonel, and you have Brad Buckley, who's a veterinarian. Now, in District 54, to which a lot of us live in from Killeen area, some of Carpus Cove, Harker Heights, you extend to, I think, some of Belton. But let's look at that for your legislators. For people who look like us, I know you do know there's a George Floyd bill passed through our Black Legislative Caucus. And when legislators go back in office, they'll have to push that bill through. Okay, who's going to help them push that bill through? We are. We, people. But when you talk to your two legislators, are you going to ask them about the George Floyd bill? Ask them about it. See what they think about it. Because from there you might say, well, you know what? I need to make sure you go because you know what it's all about and we need it to pass. So we need to put you in. We need to put you in as one more person to be in there to make that happen. Strategy. Yes, that's what it is. You ask them about the Crown Act. If they ask you what's the Crown Act, first, if your two legislators, if one of them say what's the Crown Act, up, you just lost. You can't help. So if they don't know what the Crown Act is, which is about your hair, which is about our hair, remember the attack on the young men's hair? Well, there's a Crown Act, and the Crown Act passed in a bunch of other cities and a bunch of other states, but now it's in Texas. So if the person that's running for legislator, I don't know about the Crown Act. What is it? Oh, there's a problem. Because you know that when that fight for it to hit the floor and be voted on, that person who knows nothing about it is not going to be in that seat. They're not going to be there. So you got to vote to make sure that strategy again, that the person we vote for knows both of those rulings, have read both of those, and you can read them too, the George Floyd Act and the Crown Act. Yes, Texas Black Legislative Caucus. Look it up, read it, digest it. Don't just read it. Read it, digest it, because we got to help them get it through. We got to help them get this passed, which once again goes to your health. Make sure that it's straight. But we got to help them pass these things. We got to sit back and actually sit back and read and stop sitting back relaxing. We got to sit back and read and dive into this, make those phone calls, send those emails. When your group meets, make sure these two things that address us, our people, make sure that those two things are pushed hard. Make sure that they move through our state legislators. Remember, the Texas Black Legislative Caucus wrote these, but you want all the legislators on this. You want them all to have that buy-in. You want them all to be, yeah, I agree with it. Because the one that says, well, you know what, I got to think a little more about it. Can't vote for you. I can't vote for you. You know, I asked our legislators, a couple of them, about the Crown Act when it was first written. And one of them began to tell me about their children. Well, their children don't have an issue because their children can't wear locks, or they don't. So they don't have the issue. So you can imagine the person I was talking to did not look like me. Therefore gave me some answer way down, I don't know where. And my first thought was, I can't vote for you. Because you're not even in the knowing. You're not even relevant to what's going on. I can't do that. So what I'm telling you is this. One, yes, we got some marching orders. We're going to get back in your community and get back in it now. We have we have 79 days to flip our entire world, the United States. In certain areas like Killeen, Harker Heights, we have a whole bunch to flip because we're voting in 3 elections at one time. So we need to get our minds and your bodies ready, because you're going to have to get up, get out, and get involved in order to make the change. You stop believing the American dream, because it's a lie. Like I said, it's more than having all those things. Heck, the pandemic is teaching you now the American dream is not going to keep you alive. Maybe, who knows? Because you surely can't tell COVID, I'm the American dream. So can you walk past me? And if it doesn't want to, it's not. So it's time to get your health together once again. Get it together. Stop eating something for 21 days and it'll be gone. Start taking care of your health. Get out there. Make sure people are knowledgeable about voting. I've given enough information to you for 2 weeks to keep you searching. So get up, get out there and start doing it. Start teaching, start talking. Make that some of the everyday conversation. We got to remember to do that. Men, you can't talk about football because they're really not having any, but talk about some of these politics that's going on. Talk about some of these rules, some of these guidelines that affect maybe not you, but our younger generation. Remember, we're responsible for them. We have to take care of them. We have to pour into them. So let's not leave them out and leave them alone. These groups and organizations, go to Facebook and check them out. I didn't say get out and rally. I didn't say that. But check them out and see what they're doing. Call them up or Facebook them back. Hey, listen, I just checked out your page. I like it. I want to talk to somebody about it. All right. They'll talk to them about it. Talking to them, you listen, you find out where you might fit in. Or you might say, hey, listen, I'm so-and-so. I belong to this. I've done that. If you need me, call me. Be ready for the call, though. But, put that out there. So I'm not saying jump into these groups. Oh, yeah, if they marching to here to Austin, of course not. You're going to be dragging on the floor by then. But find out what else you can do and do it. Don't just, like I said, forget the American dream because it's a nightmare. There's no such thing as that, but we were fed it, and we fed it, and they fed it to us so much until we bought it, and we started living like it without realizing it's not true. Because while they got us in the house, just chilling after days of work and driving your vehicle home, you're allowed to assault my community. I'm allowing you to assault the defenseless part of my community. And I'm saying it's okay to do it because I'm living the American dream. So shake your head right now that no, you're not doing that. Shake your head that the American dream is not a dream. It's an American nightmare. But shake your head and realize that you're going to stay to the right. That version to the left, you're going to cut it off and leave it alone. We got to do this in order to bring everything together. We have to. We've got to. So, okay, I finished with that. So I'm going to go back to an announcement. And it's only for those whose parents are in school or educators that are at school. For KISD, we know Monday starts the virtual learning, the virtual teaching, which is something new. As doing it this time, it's going to be done. But a lot of parents went to the schools to get a tablet this week and a hotspot, and they were told that they didn't have any more. So naturally, you are mad at KISD. Guess what? This is another thing we talked about last week. It's not KISD's fault. You see, all these tablets, TEA had the district's order from a certain company, one company. So the demand is bigger than the supply. So they ran out. They had to place another, and they placed another order within time, but there's a back order now. So there's a problem. Schools don't have one. It's not their fault. Hotspots. Schools ran out of hotspots faster than they thought. Even though there's only one hotspot per household, they still ran out. Same thing. Don't fuss at the school board. If you got to fuss at anybody, go to TEA, because there's one company that everybody was buying from. So yes, they ran out. They did over order, but they ran out anyway. So yes, are you on the waiting list? Yes, you are. I'm very sorry to hear that you are on the waiting list. But remember what I told you, sometimes we attack the wrong system. So remember, this is a TEA issue, Mike Morath issue. So if you want to know who to get on about this, contact his office. Shatter his day. But remember, when we go to attack, complain, let's do it to the right person. So as far as that tablet that they ran out of and the hotspots, go talk to him. Talk to him. Don't go calling Dr. We ran out. How'd you run out? Well, he's going to tell you that the demand was bigger than the supply. When actuality, it's right. He's true. But the districts aren't in control of where they buy them from. They weren't. Like I said, this came from over their heads. So if you got to complain about it, go up there. I mean physically go, but email them. And also, to find out more about your commissioner, go to his own website. He has a website. It's called it's texasisd.com. That's it. texasisd.com. That's his website. That's where he puts stuff out on. I know. You didn't know this. I understand. I got you. I do, so now you do. It's simple. Now, a lot of things on there, you find out vacancies about superintendents, you find out about job vacancies, but also you find out information on there. Because like I said, that's his website. Does he put it out? Nope. Does he hide it? He doesn't hide it, but it's not like widely known You know, you find out if you go to meetings or workshops, or nowadays it's Zoom things, you find out what it is. But that's his. Go to it and check it out and see what it says. You'll be interested sometimes. Sometimes it's quite boring. Sometimes it's very interesting, but it's there. Utilize it. So before I close, remember, starting right now, get your health together. Get your health together. Take care of those numbers. You do that 21-day, take a list. Every 21 days, you're going to get rid of something that you know you and it aren't compatible as far as foods. Get rid of them. Move on. Do what you got to do. Take care of the community. Stop believing the lie of the American dream. Because like I said, if you pay attention, it's been the American nightmare ever since it was told to you that it was the American dream. So I want you to remember that. And keep your eyes open. Stop going to the left when you're being led that way. Stop going. You might look over there for a second and go back, right back to the right. Because when you're geared way to the left, believe me, something is going on the right that we need to pay attention to. Post office, dive into it. Dive into it. Yes, this is a year of electronics and all this, but we still need the post office. Those are workers. So dive into that. Make sure that they're okay. We have a job to do. So we got health, community involvement. Put them two together and make them work. I want to thank you for listening to Kids Community Connections this morning. I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.